Hello and welcome to HEROGEEK Presents, where we talk all things heroic. And today I am joined by Nate, who is an author of several great books that deal a lot with heroes. Am I right?
Yeah.
Yeah. So why don't you tell us a little bit about your books?
Big one I've been pushing lately is Chalk.
Hmm.
That is the first book in a series I started that is about a Catholic schoolgirl who discovers that she can make magical constructs of things she draws in chalk.
Okay, nice. And then there's a sequel to that, right?
Yes, that just came out on June 21st.
Okay. All right. So why don't you tell us a little bit about the book and about the character?
Well, the story itself is the main character's name is Raven Mistcreek. She returns home from school to discover that her house is completely missing. Like it's not even there anymore. There's grass where there should be her house, and there's the neighborhood dogs surrounding her. And all of a sudden, a cuttlefish wearing a top hat tells her to grab this box of chalk and run. And
Hmm.
so she grabs it and runs. And she also discovers after she gets to some reasonable safety that her memories seem to be missing. So it's kind of an adventure of her trying to get her memories back
Hmm.
and find her family, and uh, in the meantime discovering that they're like, why are these things after her and her family? And the plot kind of spirals into a much larger scheme at
Okay.
work that involves the Horsemen of the Apocalypse and other
Oh.
Lovecraftian horrors.
Okay, so what were your main influences? I'm sensing a little Tim Burton, a little
Not
Alice in Wonderland.
there's a wonderful review from Upstream Reviews that Declan Finn wrote, where he likens it to Alice in Wonderland, except the way he put it was, except at the bottom of the rabbit hole, it isn't Wonderland, but hell itself. Uh,
Oh, okay.
so a bunch of my big influences were like more philosophical,
Hmm.
because a lot of the story is based on the Platonic idea that the universe operates on a qualitative continuum, which is alluded to in the Final Battle by C.S. Lewis.
All
Uh,
from The Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe, right?
yeah, Narnia,
Yeah.
uh, where I think there's like a vision of heaven, and like the grass is greener than green, the mountains are larger than mountains that they were familiar with,
Okay.
and like the kids are like surprised by this, but there's like, I think there's a professor with him who's just like, oh, it's in Plato. What do they teach you kids in school?
Uh-huh.
And that was a big part of it.
Okay.
So the story deals with levels of reality. Like the higher levels are better. They're of a higher quality, and the lower you get, the closer to hell it is, the farther removed from God and reality.
Oh, wow. That's really cool. So would you say C.S. Lewis was an influence?
Oh, definitely.
Tolkien also maybe?
Yep.
Okay.
Another big, huge influence is John C. Wright, who he had a conversation, an email with a friend where he's about one of his books where he said, "Oh, that one I just let my imagination run wild," and
Mhm.
something clicked there with me, and just, well, oh, if John C. Wright can do it, then maybe I should.
Tell us a little bit about the character, the main character.
Okay. Raven is, I think I had her at 16 years old starting that book.
Hmm.
Goes to a Catholic girls' school. So she's a devout Catholic, very morally upright girl.
Hmm.
She's kind of goofy. She tends to come at things sideways. I tried to have her just think a little differently, so she doesn't. She's sort of free of guile and any sort of like angst and ennui. So
Okay.
she's kind of an innocent.
Yeah, she's very genuine, very sincere.
Yeah, but also not afraid to draw a chainsaw and attack monsters. Uh,
Okay.
yeah, that's one thing I got really tired of with like young adult fiction, where the main character is a teenager, is the characters not being very like morally upright, or you don't end up rooting for them because they just do dumb things repeatedly and just get frustrated.
Yeah.
So that's
Yeah.
one of the things I brought into like my writing is like, well, I want to write characters that I'd actually want to hang out with these people.
Hmm.
I want to root for them. I want them to win. I don't want to we'll be holding the book and yelling at them like, no, don't do that.
Yeah. So one of the questions I like to ask with every person I bring on, what makes her heroic?
A big part of that, I'd say, is her faith. Like she like understands evil and isn't afraid to like actually, yeah, take up arms against it. Another thing is her connections to her family. Starting out, she doesn't know if they're in trouble, and I really tried to develop a very clear statement that her siblings and her parents are all love each other. And
It's
actually,
very pro family.
yeah,
Yeah.
yeah. Actually, some of my favorite moments are actually her interacting with her family. There's some very fun dialogue between her and her younger sister in particular.
Yeah, I've noticed a lot of fiction in general today, that has kids in it. Their parents are divorced, or they're being raised by a single parent. There's not a lot of pro family stuff.
No. Another big one is like the dumb dad tropes that I'm really tired of.
Yeah.
Like as a father, it's just like, why do we get portrayed as dumb?
It's great to see something that's very, pro family and pro faith. I'm a Christian myself, so that really resonates with me also. I love when stories, take that risk and do that kind of thing. So yeah, I mean, it sounds amazing. So these are the only two books you've written so far, right?
Oh, well, actually, there's Chalk, the sequel Dusklight.
Okay.
And a few years ago, I wrote a portal fantasy, Lightsinger.
Okay, great. And that has nothing to do with Chalk, right? That's completely separate.
No, completely separate. It also features that one's more explicitly young adult. That's about a bunch of teenagers that end up in a fantasy world that's sort of like the other side of Earth, which I cleverly called not Earth. But that one I came out with just like specifically just tired of like young adult tropes where just like the relationships in particular I thought have been written very poorly in young adult fiction, where it's just sort of the Hollywood, oh, I like you, let's fornicate. I put an axe to that, and I tried to make the relationship based on like, oh no, you're a good person. I like that about you.
That's great.
So,
yeah.
The relationship develops on that level.
I love how you put a focus on, being good, having a good heart, and being a good person. A lot of stuff today, subverts that and deconstruct that. Yeah. And well, I really don't like that.
Oh, it's gotten terrible. Like just some of my favorite characters just being like dragged through the mud. I mean, look what like DC did to Wally West.
Oh yeah, with like Heroes in Crisis and
yep.
Yeah, most of my favorite comic book characters, my favorite superheroes have been Captain America now, and Superman, and I'm kind of done.
Yeah, I think DC kind of was done once Tomasi finished his run on Rebirth Superman.
Yes,
I think it was like that was it, and then
Jurgens did good stuff too there.
Oh, did he? Okay, yeah. I must have missed out. I must have missed that.
Like between them, Jurgens and Tomasi shared writing credits on the Action Comics, the Superman, and then the Super Sons books. Like all three of them, kind of like.
Okay, well, Super Sons is really good. Yeah. I thought it went from Tomasi right to Bendis. I guess I missed something there.
Yeah, but the Rebirth stuff was great. After I felt after New 52, which I did not like. Superman was the father of this young 10-year-old kid, and I adored reading Superman as a father.
It was incredible, wonderful.
Yes, it was so good.
It was pitch perfect. Mm-hmm. I just remember there was a wonderful scene where they're in the I think at a park. And
at an amusement park.
Like, oh no, it's your day off, Clark. And he goes and stops some robber or something, and the PA is on, and the guys are talking about it, and Lois just looks over at him while they're on the Ferris wheel, and he's just like,
It's great stuff.
Wonderful moments.
Yeah, I love, seeing, Clark and Lois married and have this young kid. Jonathan Kent is an amazing, wonderful character.
Oh yeah.
And Bendis came in and just axed all of that goodness, just obliterated it. I think a lot of the blame has to go to Zack Snyder. I've seen this trend with DC Comics where I like to call it like this R-rated mentality, this embrace of the R rating, the violence, the deconstruction, the vulgarity, the explicit language. Like it's just gotten worse and worse. I remember liking a lot of their animated movies. I mean, a lot of them are really, really good. And then I think Flashpoint Paradox was the mark for them going downhill and going down that kind of dark, gritty, R-rated route.
Yeah, I haven't even bothered with most of those just because I've seen like some reviews where it's just, oh no, that kind of thing's in that. No, I don't want to see that.
Yeah, and a lot of them, I feel are unnecessarily graphic and explicit for like no real reason. Like, why is that in there? Because that's what they want to do. That's what they embrace.
Yeah, it's a very willful postmodern mentality that's infected a lot of our society.
Yeah.
And thankfully, I've seen a lot of like independent creators that are really fighting hard against that, which is awesome.
Mm-hmm.
Like not like in comics. I know you got the Paragon Prime going.
Yeah,
which is awesome. I love the character designs and the concepts.
Thanks.
You're welcome. I've seen other creators like what's this
Cider Hype.
Demon Hunter Raven.
Demon Hunter Raven. Yeah, I did back that, so I'm gonna be getting that when that comes out.
I know Paula Ritchie's got her
Soulbound. Yeah, Soulbound and the Penance book. I don't know if you saw the video that I did with her. Yeah,
I did actually.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, Paula's wonderful.
Yeah, she's great. So yeah, you're the one actually that turned me on to this Superversive movement thing, right?
Yeah,
I didn't know that was a thing, and then I kind of saw a couple of hashtags about it, and then I did some research on it, and I'm like, well, that's exactly what I'm trying to do. Like, wow, that's kind of awesome. So I'm guessing it's a response to Subversion, right?
Yeah. As where Subversion seeks to undermine from below, Superversive seeks inspiration from above.
Mm-hmm. Yeah,
which is something that really caught my eye because Pope Benedict XVI wrote a wonderful book called Spirit of the Liturgy, where he discusses art, and that's something he gets at, where he I'm probably paraphrasing the quote here, but he said that all art should point to the resurrection, and that's, I think, essentially what like the positive superversive art is trying to do, is it's pointing to something greater than just the mundane, essentially.
Yeah. Now, one of my biggest pet peeves, one of the things I hate the most, is how this subversive, deconstructed point of view has infested something that I feel is directly opposed to it, which is superheroes. I think the very idea, the very concept of the superhero genre is in direct conflict with that take, with that deconstructed subversive take. Like, I feel like I'm like a pilgrim in an unholy land, because a lot of people are like, yeah, well, like, why do you have a problem with this? I mean, there's room for every kind of story. Like, and try to explain, like, no. The concept of the superhero can't coexist with that. At least that's the way that I feel.
No, they're philosophically in opposition. Mm-hmm. And I think that's why the subversive element is going after the superhero genre as hard as it is. Mm-hmm. I mean, you are what you eat, is what it boils down to. And if you destroy what is true and what is good and what is beautiful, you're left with dreck. You're left with just gore and vice and wrath, essentially.
Yeah. All of this wouldn't bother me as much as it does if there was more of a balance. If we had more iconic representations of superheroes, more TV shows, more cartoons, but we don't.
No.
We have The Boys, we have Jupiter's Ascending, we have Invincible,
Ooh, I saw a clip of that. That was
disgusting. Yeah.
Yeah,
we have, DC, they've embraced that. So you have Titans, you have that disgusting Harley Quinn cartoon, you have You know, the Snyder movies. You have all the, I don't know, one of the more recent animated movies had Darkseid, you know, kill everybody in the most graphic, disgusting and gory ways possible. Like, why? You
Yeah,
know?
yeah, it's I think it's a way of destroying people's psyches. Like if you fill your mind with that, like that's just you end up just consuming more and more of it, and it's
Yeah,
harmful to the soul,
I
honestly.
think so. I think so too. And I've made plenty of rants on Twitter about this, and it always gets me into trouble. I always end up just debating hard with people, and it's kind of a trigger for me, honestly. It is. Whenever anybody mentions, you know, any of the Snyder movies or how they think the Dark DC is cool, I just can't help myself. I gotta say something.
Yeah, it's especially hard to seeing like intellectual properties that you like once loved just being picked apart and
Yeah,
just
and it's
essentially
pretty much
dismembered.
all of it. All of them
Yeah.
now. It's
Yep.
it's
I can't think of a one that I've been able to hang on to and say, "Hey, it's still going."
yeah.
It's yeah.
I mean, now He-Man is about to be gone with the Netflix show.
Yep. And I'm a big fan of He-Man,
Yeah,
the original series, so that it irks me. That's something I've been able to watch with my kids, and
yeah.
they love it. I love it because it's
Yeah,
clean.
you
It's
might want to check out the 2002 reboot. Um, it-
is that pretty good too?
that is actually very good.
Okay.
That's actually very good. I was able to find it on DVD a couple of years ago, the whole series, a box
Okay.
set of that. So, yeah, they did a reboot back in 2002, and it's actually pretty solid.
Okay.
It updates it, but maintains the spirit of the original
Oh,
80s
good. Oh,
show.
good. Because I've seen artwork from it, and I love the artwork.
Hmm.
But I haven't actually haven't gotten around to actually seeing the
Yeah,
show
it's
itself.
great. It's really solid stuff. I highly recommend it for people who are fans of He-Man but are not, you know, into the
Okay.
trash that Netflix is doing with it.
Yeah. Yeah.
Um, so I mean, I highly recommend that one.
Okay.
Um,
The most violent the original series got was He-Man throwing somebody in mud
mhm.
twice. I think in
Yeah,
like the first episode he throws Beastman in the mud twice. And
yeah,
that's
yeah,
as bad as it gets.
yeah. I'm a little annoyed how so many people are taking the bait. Oh, the trailer looks cool. Like, oh,
Oh, it's
awesome. Like, no.
no, that's an anglerfish.
The latest episode, I don't know if you saw it, it dropped yesterday, I think, was like all Tila centric and
Oh goodness, I've seen the artwork and it looks like a guy. It doesn't look like Tila.
no,
It's
no.
that's an embarrassment.
Yeah. And I don't trust Kevin Smith.
I haven't trusted him since I was sort of coerced into watching Mallrats in high
Hmm.
school,
Hmm.
and that was not a good movie to put it nicely.
Yeah. No, I remember back a couple of like about 10 years ago, I was at a comic book shop and I saw this Spider-Man comic book called The Evil That Men Do. It's with Black Cat and Spider-Man, and the artwork, you know, was done by Terry Dodson, who's a great comic book artist. And, you know, it was written by Kevin Smith. And then it has rape, homosexual incest, gory, violent, graphic murder, and I'm like, is this a Spider-Man comic book I'm reading? Like it was what? So ever since then, I'm like, Kevin Smith is dead to me. I don't want anything to do with anything he's involved with.
Wow,
Yeah.
that's I didn't even know about that one. Wow,
Yeah. Do not read that. Avoid it at all costs.
I won't. Actually, I
Yeah.
generally avoid any. I'd say avoid any Spider-Man post Marvel destroying his marriage.
Yeah. No, one more day. Yeah.
Yeah,
Yeah. That was it.
I think I think that was the moment where Marvel it's died, and it's just been kind of zombie Marvel ever since.
Yeah.
Though I
Yeah.
will give them credit for they did put out some decent work with Cable. There was a fun 5 issue series. I think John Mallon did the artwork for that, and that was pretty fun too. So
Yeah.
once in a while you get like 5 issues of something that is fun. But
Yeah, they've ruined pretty much all of their characters at this point.
so I'm a big fan of Cable. And I don't want to see if they've ruined him.
I haven't heard anything about Cable, but they're turning.
But they did cast him way too old in the Deadpool 2 movie.
Deadpool 2 movie, you
from
think?
what I've seen. I never saw the movie, but yeah.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, they're turning characters gay. They're in the movies they're swapping, gender swapping, race swapping. They're doing all the swapping in the movies.
Especially if there's a redhead.
Yeah, especially if there's a redhead.
I don't get that one. That one strikes me as so purely bizarre, but it's so very real. I saw like a meme of somebody listing literally all of them, and it was you had to scroll to get them all.
Yeah. So yeah, it's just kind of it's kind of depressing, but at the same time, if you're able to turn that disappointment into something productive, like creatively, like you and I are doing, that's great stuff. I mean, that really fuels you. Like be the change that you want to see.
Yeah, I think we're both associated with a lot of the same people on Twitter. We're seeing that from a lot of independent creators that are just okay. Well, I'm sick of this. I'm going to make my own thing, and it's going to be better.
It's going to be better. Yeah.
And I mean, that's largely what inspired me to start writing, is because I was so tired of some of the trends I was seeing in literature. And there a lot of them were doing the same sorts of things.
Like what recently have you, like, as far as the novel, the YA novel fiction world, have you seen that's really?
Well, literally, just about every YA book you'll find is going to be just filled with swears, and just an absurd amount of F-bombs, like children essentially fornicating, which that's basically grooming. Let's face it. That these authors are polluting the minds of children. Those are probably the two big ones. Yeah. I really don't use a lot of bad language in my books. I think between the three of them, there's a use of the A word, and maybe another one, but no, there's no F-bombs. If I have a character use a strong word or something, I just say like no, somebody that cursed or said a foul word or something like that, where you don't need to like print all this stuff. You can allude to it and move on. I
like to use alternatives. One of my favorites is the word crud. I like the word crud. I think it's funny. I think it fits. I don't know. I like the word crud. Oh, crud.
I think I may have used that one once or twice. The love interest in the Raven Mist Creek stories, he just says things like his backstory is that he was trained by knights, so he's this very paladin-esque leading man sort of guy. But he literally says things like curses. He's very squeaky clean, but genuinely
by Odin's beard, kind of
that sort of thing. Yeah, that's what I was going for. And it's like over the top, like it works in context, but it's
that's great. I mean, I love that kind of character. I actually have a character like that for my thing, who's actually a knight from medieval England that travels forward in time, and he becomes a superhero in the modern day.
That sounds awesome.
Yeah, he has that kind of personality. So
that I would totally read that. that is a fantastic idea. I wish I would have come up with it myself.
Yeah, so he's very much inspired personality wise by, I don't know if you've seen the Batman Brave and the Bold cartoon.
I have not. I've maybe seen a couple of little clips here and there,
okay.
But I'm familiar with the general artwork style and direction.
Yeah, well, the version of Aquaman for that show is my favorite version of Aquaman, and I modeled this character after that version of Aquaman.
Well, the medieval knight trope is a lot of fun to play with, because there's a lot there. There's chivalry is such an underrated way to live one's life that it seems really fresh and new, by amidst all this postmodern depressing stuff.
Yeah.
So it was really fun to bring in knights in my story, along with the versus Lovecraftian horrors and like unspeakable monsters. It's there should be more of that.
So how many books are you planning in the series?
That's a tough call. 'Cause I know where it ends.
But you don't know how to get there yet.
Well, I'm having a lot of fun with the concept behind it, so I don't want to rush it.
Mhm.
Like I know what I'm doing with book 3 essentially. Um, After that, I've discovered with my writing, if I outline too much and force it, it doesn't come off for me. It comes off as very stilted and not genuine. It's kind of like the characters don't get to speak for themselves.
Mhm.
Because I honestly, when I write a book, I basically have about 10% of it figured out. Like I know where point A and point B and what I kind of want to do in the middle. But otherwise, I basically toss my characters in and they react to what's going on and they end up writing themselves, which is a lot of fun.
Awesome, awesome. Do you like Harry Potter?
I have some issues with it. I honestly kind of want to revisit it just to see how much my thoughts on it would have changed. From conversations I've had, it sounds like the first 3 books hold up pretty well, and after that, it goes downhill.
Mhm.
So I like there's some good things about it, but I have mixed feelings about it. Mostly the last book I thought had a lot of retcon to it, and that kind of drove me crazy.
Did you feel like they got too dark?
I think the darkness aged with the children. Like as they grew up, it got darker, which kind of fitted, but it, there are probably a couple of moments that probably could have been tweaked or changed to remove some of that darkness. I like the magical school concept. I actually think L.J.G. Lamplighter's Rachel Griffin series is superior.
Okay.
If you're not familiar with it and you like
Yeah.
Harry Potter, check it out. The first book is The Unexpected Enlightenment of Rachel Griffin. It's a magical school story, and it doesn't have the same like pitfalls. It's one of my go-to like recommendations. Like, oh, this is really good. You should read this.
How many books are in that series?
So far, what was it? 5? I think the 5th one came out last February.
So I'm actually like Narnia. I read Lion, the Witch, and the Wardrobe. Although, interestingly enough, I think the movie fleshed out the story more because actually the book is actually really really short. So
It is.
the movie like did more than the book did, which is
Yeah.
kind of an opposite problem of what a lot of book to movie adaptations have.
Yeah.
You know?
Yeah, I should watch that again and reread them. I'm waiting for my kids to get old enough that I can actually read them. The old chapter books
Yeah.
like that, and The Hobbit. I actually tried to read my oldest the Chuck Dixon comic adaptation of The Hobbit. And
Oh, cool.
we think we got about halfway through and he lost interest. Because I mean he's not that old, so it was understandable. But I kept telling him, "Oh, we haven't gotten to the dragon yet. You like dragons?" And
Yeah, the Smog is awesome. Smog is the coolest. He's great. Yeah. Oh man, that's good stuff. So like, what other influences, for your work?
well, I read I read an awful lot. I'm trying to think of what inspired me specific. Well, H.P. Lovecraft is a big one.
Yeah.
I can go right into that one. And not just him, but he was associated with August Derleth, who wrote a bunch of stuff in the same vein. And I think edited or published a bunch of Lovecraft's work. But Derleth, I believe, was a Christian and tried to fit the like Cthulhu mythos into a like Judeo-Christian framework.
Mhm.
Like whereas like no, Christianity is real. These are like demonic entities that are like in opposition to
Oh, that sounds
the
awesome.
angels.
I would like to check that out. That sounds really cool.
Yeah, that's where like the Lovecraftian mythos actually like can make some sort of sense, and it doesn't get like it's just like all existential terror. Like no, well, even Lovecraft had some of his heroes win
Mhm.
against these like unspeakable terrors,
Yeah.
which is pretty cool. I think the like existential terror of the Lovecraftian horror gets overstated sometimes because he had you still had good guys winning. Then you had Derleth trying to sort of codify stuff into a good versus evil framework that I think worked.
Right. Any Stephen King at all, or not really?
No, I'm not a fan of Stephen King.
Okay. Yeah.
I haven't heard good things. I've heard he really falls into like the postmodern, like I'm going to have you read about disgusting things that no human should ever picture, and I avoid that stuff. Like,
You like science fiction?
it depends on the science fiction. I love John C. Wright. His science fiction is amazing. Actually, just a few months ago, finished a trilogy he wrote called Lost on the Last Continent, which is about a guy who is rich enough to afford like a spaceship essentially, and he follows a alien spacecraft through a wormhole into like millions of years in the future. And so he encounters like aliens and dinosaurs and all this crazy stuff. So like that kind of science fiction I get behind, and generally
Asimov?
I haven't read Asimov. I have not read him. Like military science fiction, I tend to enjoy a lot for some reason. I'm not super big on science fiction or military fiction, but military science fiction for some reason clicks with me. Like I don't know if you're familiar with Dan Abnett's Warhammer 40K stuff.
Yeah.
That stuff I enjoy. It gets a little gory sometimes, but he really puts a focus on heroic characters, which I really like.
Yeah. It's gotten to the point where the truly heroic character is kind of becoming extinct, and that's really depressing, and they feel the need to take heroic characters and to deconstruct them and to make them morally ambiguous.
Or like Game of Thrones, where everybody is morally ambiguous, and I never understood the appeal of that sort of thing. It's like, well, where's the good getter root for?
Yeah,
I guess like I thought that like the superhero thing and like fiction, you're supposed to get. It seems like you're supposed to get inspired by characters, like Superman. Like, oh, he's Superman. He's better. So that should inspire you to be better. I mean, I love characters who are like that. Like, are you familiar with Declan Finn's St. Tommy NYPD series? Okay, it's kind of a superhero story mixed with some urban fantasy. It's about a cop who essentially has the superpowers of a wonder worker, of a saint. Like right at the beginning of the first book, he discovers that he can bilocate.
Oh wow!
And he stops a purse. I think it's a purse snatcher by being in two places at once. But yeah, Tommy Nolan is like this super squeaky clean guy, and you love him for it. And it's because he does everything that's like without even like really thinking about it. He does like the right thing as if it was just that's why would anybody think that's weird?
Yeah, I mean, and the thing is though, unfortunately, a lot of people nowadays think that kind of character is stupid and not relatable, and and I'm like, maybe that kind of character is unrealistic, maybe it is, but they exist for a reason. They exist because they give us something to aspire to, and today's society wants to get rid of that kind of character, that kind of ideal, because they don't want to be reminded to be better. They want to remain in their morally ambiguous lives, to do whatever they want to do and feel good about themselves, right? So when you have someone like Superman or Captain America, hold up these ideals, that puts a mirror to them. Oh, well, I'm not a very good person, or I don't want to be reminded of that in my fiction. So they have to deconstruct the heroic figures. They're insecure in themselves.
Yeah, I think you're exactly right. But I find that kind of mentality odd, honestly. Like if I notice a character who's doing something better than me, it's I definitely could do better at that. Like I'm genuinely thankful that character showed me that, because why wouldn't you want to fix your flaws? Why wouldn't you want to be better at something? Why wouldn't you want to aspire?
And these characters,
puzzling.
These characters aren't smug about it. They're not jerks about doing the right thing. It's just it's very genuine, very sincere. It's who they are.
Yeah.
One thing I've noticed is a lot of people. Batman is one of my favorite characters. I love Batman.
Oh, same here. Same here.
A lot of people have this misconception about Batman. Batman is a dark hero, not an anti-hero. There is a distinct difference.
Yep.
Oh, well, they think Batman should be
Yep.
killing and super brutal and whatnot. Like, no. Batman is brooding. Batman can be dark, but he's still a hero. He still does the right thing for the right reasons. I don't understand why, like the Snyder movies. Oh yeah, Batman just murks people. He just kills criminals like nothing. I'm like, no, that's not Batman. That's the Punisher.
Yeah. No, if Batman did that, it would probably ruin him psychologically, just because of like his backstory.
Yeah.
What they should have done was turn like Tomasi's Batman and Robin into something, a movie. Like,
Yeah.
have you read the Batman?
Is that the one with Damian Wayne as Robin?
Yes, that's where he discovers.
And where Dick Grayson became Batman, right? Or
I think that's during Morrison's run.
That was Morrison.
I think this took place after, where it's more like Bruce Wayne trying to be a good father to Damian.
I did read some of that. Yeah.
Okay.
I did read some of that.
I read a couple of I think the first two collected
Volumes,
editions and just loved it. Like I think I read the first one like right after I had my first kid, and I was just like, oh my gosh.
Mm-hmm.
So it's just like hitting like all of the like, nope, you're gonna feel emotions. It's like, yep, yeah. Thank you, Tomasi.
Yeah. I blame a lot of what's happening now with superheroes on Frank Miller and Alan Moore.
Oh, I was gonna say, you're gonna say Watchmen, aren't you?
Yeah.
Yeah. I skimmed through that in college and hated it.
Yeah. Now I'm not gonna say that it's not well written. Okay. It's well put together, it's well written, but I think I still don't like it.
Yeah, it seemed the whole purpose seemed to be to deconstruct the superhero genre, and I think that set the tone for exactly what we're seeing now.
Yeah, and I think I've seen interviews with Alan Moore, and even he kind of regrets doing Watchmen.
Huh.
Yeah.
Interesting.
Which is weird. Like he thinks that it's done a lot more damage than he intended it to.
Wow.
Yeah, that he thinks like, oh well, it was never my intention to do this to the genre. I just thought it was an interesting idea, but I didn't mean it to be a standard, because right now it is the standard. It's become the rule rather than the exception.
Oh yeah.
We don't have. Yeah. About the only mainstream TV show that's giving us an iconic version of a superhero is probably Superman and Lois.
Oh, I've heard about that. I think I've seen you talking about that one.
Yeah, it's actually really, really solid, really good. I keep waiting for the shooter drop, for the woke shooter drop on it. It hasn't.
Oh, good. That's such an awful feeling, though, that you have to be like paranoid that that's going to happen, because that's become so typical.
Mm-hmm. So so far, it's really solid. I love Lois Lane on the show. She's really, really great on the show. Superman. The character playing Superman is great. It's very pro-family.
Nice.
Very pro-family. Clark is a good father. Lois is a good mother. It's iconic Superman. Selfless and heroic, and with a good heart, and cares about humanity and wants to save people, and all of the goodness of the character.
Nice.
One thing I love about the show is like a lot of Superman stuff, comics, whatever, they paint Jor-El, his father, as a little morally ambiguous. Like, you don't know whether he sent Superman there to conquer Earth or to save them. It's kind of like really up in the air, right?
Mm-hmm.
Now with this Jor-El, no, he is good. He sent Superman there to be a hero, and that's clear and explicit. Nice. And it's so excellent. Amazing. I love, like, oh my gosh, Jor-El is amazing in this show. Yeah, I love Jor-El. It's really great. And now they're doing that to Batman. They're kind of like implying that Thomas and Martha Wayne were not great people.
Uh,
Yeah.
that's a shame. That's one thing I really liked about the Christopher Nolan Batman
Hmm.
stuff. Is like his dad was just this like super guy.
Hmm.
Like it only saw a handful of clips with him, but in every one of them it was just like him loving his son and inspiring him, and those lessons actually sticking.
Yeah. Yeah.
And I think that's one of the things that made those movies so good was those little philosophical tidbits that stick.
It's kind of over when it comes to the big two anyway. Marvel hasn't embraced the dark as much as DC has, but what they have done is embrace the woke.
That is very true.
I mean, in the movie, on the movie end, but they did also, oh well, this suddenly this character's gay, Iceman and Kitty Pryde, and
So Kitty Pryde now too.
yeah, Kitty Pryde is bisexual now or whatever.
See, I was angry at Marvel after they destroyed her marriage to Colossus,
Mm-hmm.
which they seem to.
They did it Peter Parker and MJ. They did it with Kitty Pryde and Colossus. They did it with Superman and Lois Lane.
It's completely evil. I've been tooling around some like superhero ideas in my head, and one of them was actually a family that that operated as sort of a superhero family. That I think the wife was sort of a Oracle analog,
Okay.
like the communication and like actually keeping track of everything. Like no, the bad guys over on this street, or that sort of.
I don't understand why modern day comic creators are so against characters getting married and having families. Like, why is that so bad? Every time a character gets close to it, they just no, it's not gonna happen.
Yep, it's kind of infuriating because
Yeah.
it's the will they won't they, but it's always won't they? No, they won't.
I welcome the challenge. I mean, with my story, Paragon Prime, he's gonna get married and he's gonna have a family and he's gonna be a good father and a good husband. I want to elevate family values. That's something very important to me.
It's always struck me as bizarre. It's what well, every time there's a couple, like I know Marvel had Cable and Domino were kind of a thing. It's like there was a will they won't they there, and then that just kind of fell apart. It's like, well, why do these always do that? And now it seems like there all along there was something kind of insidious lurking behind all of that.
One of my favorites was actually Black Panther and Storm.
Oh, really? That one I didn't know about.
And they destroyed that one too.
Like, why not just give these people stable relationships? They're much more fun to write.
Much more fun. I mean, the rebirth stuff with Superman and Lois, and their son Jonathan, that was so good. I cannot like stress enough how much I enjoyed all of that stuff.
It's really hard to like easy 5 stars on that whole run. That was
and I read some of the Spider-Girl comics, which is like a what if future of Peter Parker and Mary Jane's daughter, Mayday Parker, and she became Spider-Girl. Okay. And that was really cool. That was a great run. And I was kind of hoping that they would go where, like, MJ and Peter were married. She was going to get pregnant and there was going to be a daughter. And, I want to see Peter and MJ as young parents. Oh my God, that idea excites me, and how they would handle, her manifesting her spider powers. And that is really compelling and interesting to me. Something I would have loved to read. They can't do that. I don't know.
Mind-boggling.
Yeah.
That's one of the reasons I'm glad the independent creators are really starting to come to the fore, because I'm hopeful that people will recognize, this other stuff just isn't worth my time anymore. Let's look what these guys are doing.
Yeah, and there's some great people out there. Yourself, Paula Ritchie, Cider Hype, my friend Gilly Deltrez, which is doing Galactic Rodents of Mayhem, which is very TMNT meets Star Wars.
Oh, okay.
It's really cool stuff. There's a lot of really, really amazing stuff out there from indie creators and stuff like this. So
Well, yeah, even,
Um,
like you mentioned Paula Ritchie, like the publisher that she did Penance through, Silver Empire, they have a whole series of prose superhero stories now.
yeah.
Are you familiar with that at all?
Yeah.
The Her-
We discussed that in the video. Yeah, and
okay,
mhm.
after reading Penance, I really want to dive more into that because I know uh, Ben Chia has I think a whole series in there. When I read one of his books and it was amazing. Like
Yeah,
that was uh I'm
yeah.
actually amazed by some of the indie stuff I've seen put out. Like it's easy like 5-star stuff from Silver
Yeah,
Empire. I,
I,
it's
have you heard of Brainy Pixel?
yeah, I follow them on Twitter.
Yeah. Oh my God, I got their they recently printed the Chronicles of Faith David comic,
Ah,
and this is one of the best biblical comic books I've ever read in my life,
awesome.
and the artwork is phenomenal. Just take a look at some of that art. How amazing that
That
is!
yeah,
Look at that.
that's
Look how incredible that art is.
that's amazing.
Yes.
I am going to have to look into that now.
Yeah.
Because I don't like the digital stuff. I like to
Me
actually have
too. Me
something in
too.
my
And
hands.
I bought
There's
this. I bought this digitally, but then they announced that we're printing it. So you can order a printed copy. I'm like right away. You know, um, I'm more of a physical guy. I like to have it in my hand and read it. Um,
yeah, there's I remember things better if it's in my hands for like I
mhm.
remember there was a passage from a book I wanted to find. I was able to open up right to it and find it. I don't think I'd be able to do that again with anything, but just that sort of tactile like sense memory sort of thing. It sticks with me so
It
much
sticks
better.
with me so much better too. And you know, I've got a couple of digital comics and I've read them, and you know, a lot of them are really good. But it doesn't stay with me as much as actually um, physically reading it. But Brainy Pixel, they're doing some great stuff. They're one of my favorite people doing stuff. You know, they have a couple of animated shows that they want to pitch, like Divine Nine and Fourth World 4. Check out their website. They have some
Okay.
stuff on there, which is really cool stuff. They have a couple of they're actually um, distributing Soulbound too.
Oh, nice. Okay.
Yeah, yeah. So yeah, they made a deal with Paula, so they're distributing the first two issues of Soulbound on their
Nice.
website. I'm thinking about making a deal with them to do the same thing for Paragon Prime when that comes out.
Nice. Oh, I was gonna ask how did you end up getting enough to go through with the mini comic?
Not yet.
Okay. Okay.
The good thing about GoFundMe is there's no time limit.
Oh, nice.
So you know,
I didn't know that. Okay.
I'm halfway there. I'm at 500 and something right now. So
Oh, nice. Okay.
yeah. So you know, it's going. It's going. Right now, my editor is kind of busy with other stuff anyway, so she's not going to be able to take a look at the script until September. So
Oof. Okay.
yeah, it's kind of a delay on that. I'm happy for her because she's like good busy. You know, she's getting a lot of
Sure.
work, which is great for her, but
Yeah.
it's not great for me.
Right. Right.
You know, but I'm genuinely happy for her. She's really talented and she deserves it.
Cool.
You know, but have you ever thought about turning any of your books into graphic novels?
Oh gosh, I would love for Chuck to be adapted into the manga style. Honestly,
Mm-hmm.
I don't know if you saw it. I made a sort of anime stylized Raven Mist Creek. I
Oh no,
don't know. You
I'll
didn't
have
see
to check
that?
it. I have to check that
Okay.
out. Okay.
I'll have to get that here somehow.
Yeah.
That's yeah. I think the aesthetic would go together really well. Actually, my friend Josh Griffin wrote the review he wrote for Chuck. Actually mentioned that he thought the tropes used were very anime-esque. So I appreciated that because the over the top nature of some of it, I think, uh, is well suited to that sort of thing.
Is anime a lot of influence?
I think subconsciously,
Any specific anime or
I've only sort of rediscovered anime within the last maybe year. I it's hard to find good ones that really fit what I like because
Yeah.
there's kind of an abundance of not necessarily like super gritty dark stuff, but uh, let's say inappropriate content that I
Mhm.
just try to
Yeah.
avoid.
Yeah. Say no
Um,
more. I know what you mean.
yeah, I mean my favorite anime right now is probably Girls in Panzer, which is just really fun.
Hmm.
I mean, a bunch of girls driving around in tank battles. Uh, it's 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 played straight, but it's almost seems to be like knowingly silly at the same time.
Yeah. I'm a big fan of My Hero Academia. Well, I think that's much is obvious, right?
Oh, actually, I should check that one out.
Yeah.
I've haven't actually heard of much about it other than that people watch
Yeah.
it.
It's basically it's what if the Japanese got their hands on the iconic superhero genre, and it's actually done really really well. And
Okay.
the character that I gravitate towards the most, my favorite character in the entire show is All Might, and All Might is that iconic traditional Superman-esque superhero.
Okay.
He's just good. He's just heroic. He's just selfless, and he's a really fun character, over the top, just very likable. Yeah,
Oh, I'm sold. I'll have to check it out.
yeah, definitely. It's solid stuff. I recommend, and I don't like a lot of anime too. So, do you like Avatar: The Last Airbender?
Ooh, Afterlife. Yes, love it.
Yeah,
I thought that was a very well written show.
yeah, I'm a
I
huge fan of that.
the my my favorite character is probably Uncle Iroh. But
Yes, Uncle Iroh is
but
great.
the but that's sort of that loving father figure that we've been talking about. It's and the Zuko character arc is wonderful
Hmm.
because it's not just like, oh, I'm evil, now I'm good. There was like he went through a lot of understandable like real like mental challenges,
Yeah, very layered
and
character.
yeah, surprisingly so. Um, so that was I've actually watched it through all the way twice now.
I have it on
It's
Blu-ray.
Oh, nice. It was actually given to me as my wife and I as a present
Oh, nice.
for Christmas from a friend who was just like, yeah, we think you'd like this, and we just like after
Oh,
like
so you
this
never saw it on
never saw
Nickelodeon?
it.
Oh,
No,
okay. I
no,
I
just
was I was a fan of it when it was airing on Nickelodeon.
okay.
So
No, this was just a friend who a really good friend who thought we'd like it, and like after the second episode, we were just like, oh yeah, let's watch more of this. This is
yeah,
really good.
Aang is a great, amazing character. I love Aang. He's, you know, Sokka is hilarious.
Who doesn't love Sokka?
Yeah, he's great. It's a great show. And then it kind of all fell apart when they did Legend of Korra, unfortunately. But
That's what I was told by the same person who bought us Avatar.
mhm.
So we've never bothered to even check that one out at all.
Yeah, yeah. What I'm getting sick of is the woke bait and switch.
Yeah.
Do you know what the woke bait and switch is?
From Korra or specifically?
Well, Korra did it, but like a lot of things do it nowadays. Um,
Uh, specifically, I don't know what you're referring to, but I if you explain it to me, I probably know
the
exactly what
woke
you're
bait and
talking about.
switch. The woke bait and switch is when a show kind of like lulls you into a false sense of security, sort of like what I'm waiting for to happen in the Superman and Lois show.
Oh, okay.
You know,
And
where
then they
and
smack you.
oh yeah, by the way, this character's gay, and you never knew it
Yep.
before, and we didn't set it up at all. But bam, there it is.
I think Dragon Prince did that.
Yeah, I
Or
no. The thing is, though, I was interested in Dragon Prince, but I had read a couple of interviews with the creators who implied they were going to eventually do that, and I didn't even bother watching it at all.
oh yeah, see, we watched the first season. That was okay, and then second season pretty quickly just whack.
Yeah,
And that was I think it was shortly after that we ended up canceling Netflix anyway because that was a while ago.
yeah. Korra did that on the last episode, on the series finale.
That's what I heard. It just apparently from what I heard, it was really confusing and didn't actually make sense to people who were watching the show all
Like,
along.
what? Wait, what? It was just out of nowhere. Um, the the Netflix Voltron show, which I actually really loved. They did a reboot of Voltron on
Okay.
Netflix, and it was like really cool. The animation was great. I kind of like loved it, and they did that. Yeah. So right now, I don't trust anything.
No, that's one of the reasons we don't have a single streaming service.
No.
Like they all seem to be in the same boat. And like why give money to people who hate you has become a kind of a slogan.
I've
I
been
guess.
sent links to buy that book quite a bit.
Oh,
There's a book.
The Brian Nemir.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, that book. Yeah.
Yep.
Yeah, it's become, do you know what Antonio Sabato Jr. is trying to do with Conflict Studios?
I don't think I know that name.
So you don't know about Conflict Studios or what they are or what they're trying to do.
No.
Okay, so Conflict Studios is started by Antonio Sabato Jr., which is an actor who used to work in Hollywood, and essentially it's the anti-Hollywood.
Okay.
So what he's trying to do is he's trying to bring entertainment, movies, and TV shows with the production value of Hollywood, but without any of the trash, without any of, no wokeness, no SJW stuff,
Nice.
very Christian based,
Okay.
And I'm following what he's trying to do because a lot of, let's face it, a lot of Christian entertainment is not that great.
It's unfortunate. I will say I've been surprised by The Chosen.
Yeah, I've heard about that. I haven't seen it yet though, but I've heard that it's actually really well done. It's got like the budget of something like Game of Thrones, but it's about Jesus.
Yeah, it's like 100% crowdfunded is my understanding.
Oh, okay.
And so their budget's actually pretty shoestring as far as I understand it, but it doesn't show. The film work is actually genuinely masterful, and the writing is quite good. The first season is a big focus on Jesus calling the disciples, and there's a genuine care for like actually paying attention to like Jewish practices and what the Romans were like, and I think they actually did a pretty good job of creating a good like period piece essentially, in addition to something that really seems to be respectful of like biblical characters that I grew up loving. It's so it's
I'm gonna have to eventually check that out and see where I can watch it because I've heard really good things about it.
I think you can buy it, and I think you can also watch it free through their app.
Okay.
And it's worth checking out. I'll warn you, the first episode's kind of slow burn, but it ends like the ending kind of smacks you.
I'm gonna guess that this show is gonna end with the crucifixion of Christ. Well, no, I think it's gonna end with the resurrection of Christ. Actually, would be a good way to end the show.
That would be a good way to end it, because I think the guy behind it said that the plan was for 7 seasons and that they were not going to get to acts. Okay. So that would be my guess too, is ending with either the resurrection or possibly Pentecost.
Yeah, I mean that sounds amazing. I wish one of my favorite movies is actually The Prince of Egypt.
I think I've seen that. I think I remember being really impressed with that one.
Yeah, I mean, like, why can't we have more movies like that? I mean, that is one of the best animated movies ever. It's gorgeous and just beautiful. Like the animation still like awes me on that movie. And it's really respectful of the story of Moses from the Bible. I mean, they change a couple of things, but it's not like like that terrible Noah movie that they did.
Oh goodness.
That trash.
Yeah, no, I should watch Prince of Egypt again. I've been a fan of the old Charlton Heston 10 Commandments.
That 10 Commandments is amazing. That movie's amazing. Ben-Hur, the original Ben-Hur
is really good too. Have you seen El Cid?
Yes.
Okay.
A while ago, but I did see that too. Yeah.
It's another good one. That yeah, that's why aren't there more of those?
Yeah, and like this, for example, I would love to see this. The story of David. David is my favorite biblical character. Like
Okay.
his story is just epic. It's full of like epic battle war scenes, and the whole David and Goliath thing is iconic. I mean, you could really make something really epic out of that, like an epic TV show or series of movies, or with the real production value, like the budget of like the Gladiator movie or something like that. Some just
I grew up sort of I don't know if the word I'm looking for is just covered in those old like biblical hero stories, and that I find it bizarre that we don't see those anymore. Like it's
well, I mean, Hollywood is so anti-faith, anti-Christianity, so I mean, it's no surprise that we're not seeing this kind of thing, but like hopefully with people like Antonio Sabato Jr. and Conflict Studios, maybe we'll get to see more of that. Maybe we'll get to see because I think we need an alternative to mainstream entertainment. Independent creators, and not only in the book and comic book world, but like everywhere. Like I'm talking movies, TV shows, video games, just all of it.
It's at least what I'm seeing is a lot of us are really like coming together and supporting each other and saying, hey, look at this guy's stuff, look at this.
I haven't done it in a while, but I should like promote other people's works, and check out this Indiegogo from this thing, it looks really cool, you guys should check it out.
I do it as much as I can. Like what I've started doing is if I start reading a book, I promote it, like this is what I'm reading, and if I really like it, I end up writing a review and posting it on my blog.
Okay, so you read Penance and you made a review on it?
Yep. If you go to empyreanblade.wordpress.com, it should be the first one up there now, because I think I posted it on Friday.
Okay.
And did try to do a bit of a book boost for her, because it was really good. It's a bit of a redemption arc in a superhero story.
Yeah. We talked a lot about that. She told me some things about it that got me really excited about it. But the thing is, I have so many things on my read list. Like I have a pile right here of like things that I got to read that eventually I'll get around to it, but all this other stuff to read first.
Yeah, my to read stack is probably it would probably reach up to my waist. And that's books.
Yeah.
The trick is finding out which one should I read next.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, you gotta like feel it out. Like, what am I in the mood for right now? And I'm the kind of person that if I have way too many choices, that makes it worse for me.
Yeah. I'm kind of the same way. It's right. My to read list is huge, and it's just like, okay, well this one has a cool cover, I'll do that one.
Yeah. Do you read comics at all?
I used to more before things kind of went
under. Have you read any of the indie stuff?
I haven't. A lot of it's in digital. I've been meaning to get Paula's stuff, and I'm waiting for. Is the Demon Hunter Raven in? I think that's just ebook yet, isn't it?
No.
Oh, is it?
Demon Hunter Raven is physical. I'm getting.
Oh, is it now? Okay.
I'm getting all 3 volumes of it, the deluxe version of all 3 volumes, and it's getting sent to me, as an actual like books.
Oh, okay. I'll have to look into that, because that's the creator of that seemed pretty cool, and I liked his concept.
Yeah, he's a cool guy.
And I've been looking for something to boost in the comic book slot of what I've been trying to boost for the Dragon Awards, which are coming up.
I can recommend you some cool stuff, like the Dragon Guard is also looks like it's going to be it's not out yet, but it's very much answering. It's very Conan and He-Man inspired.
Okay.
It's got like the art reminds me of like He-Man and Thundercats, which are both shows that I grew up on and I loved.
Okay.
So yeah, that one's really cool. What else? Common America
Oh,
by
I've seen that.
by Pellegrini. Oh my god, that is one of my favorites. It
Okay.
is it's probably in my top three indie comics that I've ever read.
Okay.
It's pretty perfect in my opinion.
Okay. 'Cause I noticed there was some crossover with something called Black Hops,
Yeah, Black
which
Ops is also really cool.
okay.
I have the omnibus of that. I haven't read it yet, but the Common America stuff is pretty flawless as far as
Okay.
I'm concerned. You know, likable characters, good story that doesn't take itself too seriously, but it's not a parody either. Just the main character of Carly is she's really sweet, really endearing, really pure-hearted.
Okay.
Um, she can be kind of a ditz at times, but it's kind of adorable and endearing.
Okay.
I highly recommend Common
Okay.
America. They probably gonna come out. Well, you can go on the Iconic Comics website and order them off of there. But they're probably gonna come out with an omnibus. So you might want to wait for the omnibus to come out.
Okay.
Um, there is an emphasis on Catholicism in it. There's a character. I mean, the main character
Oh,
is Catholic.
okay.
Um, also, there's another. It's another writer that does kind of a comic book about a Catholic exorcist demon hunter. Um, that's also on the Iconic website that you might like. Actually, I have the first volume of that. Actually, that's actually pretty good too.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah. Check out the Iconic comics. They're just some of the best that I've read. I mean,
Okay.
their stuff is really solid. They're in the top, at least the top five of indie publishers right now.
Okay.
Yeah.
Yeah, it's kind of incredible. Like amidst all this dark stuff that we're kind of railing against, we're actually seeing some really like people are just we're gonna make my own, and it seems to be really high quality stuff. And
Yeah.
it's it's a good feeling to see this sort of thing happening.
Yeah, it really is, and you know we're all very supportive of each other. We're all our own best cheerleaders at the moment. You know, I feel really blessed that I've met so many great people on Twitter because, as you know, Twitter can be pretty horrible.
That's what I've heard. I've I've managed
I
to
don't know how
avoid.
you've managed to avoid all the horribleness of Twitter.
It's I don't seek it out. I think
I don't seek it out all the time either. It just finds
huh
me.
weird.
Yeah.
Maybe it's that's my maybe it's something as my priest would call a great bubble of grace.
Uh-huh. Yeah. So yeah, I was really happy to find this subversive kind of movement thing. I even put it on my bio on my like a subversive creator
I saw
of
that.
Paragon Prime. Like, yeah, this is great. This is I can totally get behind this. And I'm completely embracing it. So yeah. Well, I think we've run out of things to talk about.
All right.
But yeah, this was amazing. This was great. So you can find your books on Amazon.
Yep, Amazon. If you look up N.R. LaPoint
Okay,
is
so
my author name.
I will definitely put a link to where you can buy the book on Amazon on the description of this video when I post it.
All right, thanks.
Yeah, and then you also have the other one, the Portal Fantasy one on there too.
Yeah, I actually put up an author page on Amazon, and like all three books are gonna be listed on
Okay,
there.
great. All right, that sounds great. I'm gonna put a link to that. I'm gonna see if I can buy them too and add them to my monster read list.
Oh, actually, I should mention Chalk is currently on sale. I put the ebook up for 99 cents, and the paperback is currently $9.99.
Oh, nice. Very cool. Very cool. You got, you know, it'd be cool. Like, have you thought about doing collaboration with Paula on anything?
I think we're both really busy. That would be awesome.
Yeah.
Because we actually both of our books, Penance and Chalk, feature 16-year-old girls and cuttlefish. So
Interesting. That's kind of
yeah,
ironic.
it was really bizarre.
Yeah. Well,
sent her a
I mean,
message.
actually, that's not as rare because, like, for example, Common America, the Carly, the main character, has a pet capybara, right? I don't
Okay.
know if you know what a capybara is, right?
Yes. Yes.
Yeah, right. So, and it's really prominent in the comics. And then my buddy Gilbert, his Galactic Rodents of Mayhem comics, they're capybaras. They're like anthropomorphic capybaras.
Okay.
So it's like,
Huh.
that's kind of weird. What are the chances that this kind of obscure animal would be in both of these comics, you know?
Right, and then you have Paula and I writing about cuttlefish.
Cuttlefish, yeah.
Granted, mine talks, and hers is a real cuttlefish.
Uh-huh.
But yeah,
Interesting.
it's really funny.
Yeah. All right. Well, thank you for joining me today. This was super fun. I wanted
Thanks for
to do
having me.
this. You know, this is like, I got to get this guy on because he kind of shares a lot of the same philosophies of fiction and hero stories that I do. And I want to discuss that. But yeah, this was great. This was super fun.
Yeah.
All right. Well, thank you for joining us on HEROGEEK Presents. And yeah, just tune in next time where I'll have another creator on to talk about their heroic works. All right. Bye-bye.
Bye.